Hello, Graphic Design 2 students. I'm going to show you how to get started on your music video. You should have your music video analysis done first, and that is found on Google Classroom. If you have not turned that in, make sure you get that turned in first. And then I'm going to have you choose your musical artist. I see one person has already done that, which is wonderful. So you're going to choose the name of your musical artist. That could be somebody from a long time ago or someone more recent. It could be your own song or maybe your brother's band or whatever. We've had a combination of all of those at some point over the years. And so you're going to choose your artist and then please let me know the name of the song as well. I just want to see what you've chosen. I'm not going to, investigate every song. I just want to see that you've made that choice. And then number two is what mood or feelings does this song bring to mind? So very similar to the music video analysis. So determining, is this kind of a dark or moody song? Is this kind of silly, funny? Is it going to be a little more dramatic? Is it about love and romance, or is it about friendship? What kind of moods and feelings do you get from that song? And chances are you'll have more than one mood or feeling. And then what ideas do you have for your own music video? So meaning taking this song and how are you going to make your own video original? So you're not allowed to copy existing music videos. You can use them for inspiration, but it needs to be your own work. So ideas such as, what kind of shots are you going to do? Are you going to do a zoom in, like super close up shot? Are you going to do a point of view shot? Maybe you have a GoPro camera and you want to do some cool point of view stuff, doing tricks on a bike. I don't, you can do a lot of different techniques. Those filmmaking techniques are important. So I want you to kind of start thinking about what those shots are going to look like, what your raw footage will look like. So this is your next step. The third step here is going to be your raw footage and your MP3 file. So here is where I want you to find your MP3 file. So that's your music file. And it should be 2+ minutes long, give or take. And you'll also upload your raw footage. So I have this kind of assignment as like a bank, a place where you can upload your components for your music video. You are not uploading your finished music video to this assignment. So the instructions say, please upload your chosen MP3 file. Okay, remember it should be 2+ minutes long, and raw footage for your music video. If you have too much raw footage, simply upload what you can and back up the remaining video clips to your Google Drive, and that is going to be super useful. I actually have a Google Pixel phone, and I am able to back up my videos to my Google Photos, and so that way I can just go into my Google Photos, find everything, and it's really handy. So it's a good idea to back things up, especially if you have any phone issues down the line. You have a week and a half to gain raw footage or animate some clips. I do recommend not animating the entire music video because that can get pretty tedious. If you do choose to animate the entire video, just understand that you are signing up for a lot of time. You're committing a lot of time to your video. So if you're going to do that, awesome. I encourage you to do it, but please know that you have to dedicate a lot of time to animation. It's not the kind of thing where you can just spend, an hour a day. It's more like 6 to 8 hours a day for a week and a half working on animation. You could also do partial animation too, and we'll look at some examples of that. Think of ways you can add creativity to your raw footage. So think about maybe siblings, pets. Go outside. I know it just snowed yesterday, a ton of snow, but it's supposed to warm up by the end of the week. So maybe you want some snow shots or some, warmer, nice spring time shots. I know my plants are starting to come up. My tulips are starting to come up. So think about things outside as well. I mean, I know we're in quarantine right now, but you can still get outside and do some things out of doors. Don't feel like it just has to be inside. You could try a time lapse or a stop motion. I had one student who did a time lapse. They were driving to their, I believe it was baseball practice. And so they had the phone on the dashboard, just like a little tripod, and they did a time lapse of the route that they took. Now, please make sure you exercise caution, especially with driving. I don't want you to be holding your phone, recording yourself while you're driving. That's not a good idea. That's unsafe. So please be safe about this. Don't do anything that is dangerous, such as lighting a ton of fireworks and you're in close proximity to those fireworks, or playing around with, a dangerous, weapon or whatever. You get it. But I just want to be clear about that. So if you are recording any kind of driving stuff, you either have somebody with you recording you, or like the student did a couple years ago, they just had the tripod on their dashboard and they just let it record as they were driving, and then they stopped recording as soon as they arrived, which is far safer. Another thing that you want to consider, and this is part of the rubric, and we'll go through this rubric shortly. This is going to be a lot of information because it's condensed down into a single video here. Normally, I would teach this over the course of a week. So this is a lot of information in a week. But the music video rubric here, you'll notice we have filmmaking techniques is one section. So you need to have at least 2 of these. So as you are recording, you'll have to be thinking about, are you going to pan? Are you going to tilt? Are you going to track or follow, zoom, etc.? If you forgot any of these, feel free to go back and rewatch that video we did last week with the filmmaking techniques, or you can just Google it. So if you forget Dutch tilt, just Google it. There are a lot of options here. Animation is one I added in case you are focusing on animating. They still use a lot of these filmmaking techniques in animation. You'll see that quite a bit actually. So animation can be one of them, but you should still do something else. For example, maybe you want to animate, a character going over their shoulder, or doing a long shot, or doing a close-up of your character, or whatever you're animating. So you should have at least 2 of these, but chances are you'll probably have more. There's a title credits sequence that's required. So the student included an original title sequence, which includes the title of the song, name of the musical artist, and their own name. Give credit to the owner or producer of the song at the end, along with any attribution required. Okay, so your name at the beginning and then credits at the end. Film composition, so the student used filming techniques such as panning, zooming, tilting. That's pretty much similar to what's up here. The student used compositional techniques such as rule of thirds, leading lines, and/or framing to create interesting and engaging compositions. And that also includes making sure you're not recording, and I have my phone here, you're not recording your footage vertically. Okay, that's important. So I know like TikTok does vertical footage, which is fine. But for your music video, since these will essentially be, imagine they're being played on YouTube, and I will upload some of them to YouTube just for examples. I keep them unlisted. Um, and in the player, it's horizontal. Okay, so if you have vertical, you're taking video, you're recording vertically, and you put it into that player, we've all seen it. It just doesn't look very nice. You have all this like extra stuff on the side. It's hard to see the footage because it's smaller. So please rotate your phone into horizontal mode when you are recording any kind of footage. That's really important. So just remember, okay, you're holding it up, rotate it, because it's not fun when you're trying to play around with vertical footage and turn it into horizontal. The other thing is the student used at least 75% of their own raw footage or animation. Okay, so at least 75%. You can do 100%. But the other 25% should be public domain or CC0 licensed footage. And I put a bunch of resources on this assignment here, a whole bunch of links. So we have raw footage links here. We even have like some really old stuff. And then we also have free music sources too. So if you don't have a song that you've bought like off of Amazon or wherever you're buying your music or downloading your music. These are some great places, great resources. I have 5 music resources where you can just click on it and test the music out and then download it. And most of these are very simple. There will be a download link and you can just download it right away. So feel free to look through those if you are searching for a song. But then again, the free video footage here, you can use 25% of these. I'm allowing that. So if you need, some special footage like washing your hands, I'm kind of tired of that, but or maybe this cool mountain scene. Obviously we're kind of stuck. We're not going to be able to go places. So if you're looking for something that's out there, then yeah, use some found footage, but just make sure that it's no more than 25%. And I know that's kind of objective or subjective, I mean, but just use your best judgment. And if you're not sure, you can always ask me. All right, it says the student focused on show, not just tell. So obviously you're not like narrating this or anything. Try to focus on showing the audience what you're thinking. And it can be very experimental. It doesn't have to make any sense. It can just be kind of these random clips put together, or it could be more like a story and kind of have this linear progression. Video editing, we'll get more into that as we get going, but we will be using video editing tools such as Premiere Pro. If you have Premiere Pro, if you do not, I will talk about some other options. I know B-Cut is one I've been using. I know I use that for TikTok, but that is an option as well. There are lots of mobile resources, so if you only have a phone, I'm going to give you some apps that you can try. You do not have to pay for these apps if you really want to or you feel you're able to. There are some that you can buy that aren't too expensive, but I just want to make sure that everyone has access to a video editor. And then one other thing with editing is that the video editing should correspond to the song. So if the beat is really fast, then maybe you have some more quick footage. If it's really slow or sad, then maybe some more sad or maybe some moody footage. So just thinking about how your footage correlates to the song is important. That's kind of being an artist or a filmmaker. You really have to think about both of those things. The music, we kind of already talked about this, but try to choose a school-appropriate song. Any swear words or inappropriate language should be bleeped out, so you can do that in Premiere. The music volume and/or audio transitions or effects are appropriate. There will be an artist statement that's kind of almost like a synopsis of what you decided to do and your artistic choices. And then craftsmanship, so making sure that you are doing footage all the way through to the end of the song. That it looks finished, essentially, that it doesn't look like you just threw it all together and said you're done. Because music videos take a lot of editing. There's transitions, there's filters, there's color correction, there's a lot that goes on that we'll talk about later on. So that's the rubric. I know we're kind of bouncing around here. Go back here. Okay. So down here again, it says you can download those free music video files if you need one. On Amazon, I have um, my own MP3s, and I actually started a folder, which is not a bad idea. So if you bring up a folder here, I have music video, I have my song here. So I'll just quick play a little snippet of that. So this is by Atmosphere, it's called Virgo. You might have heard it. This is the clean version, so MP3 files if you're looking for something a little more school appropriate.
I pledge allegiance to myself. Food, shelter, and health. Let me find a beach full of seashells to sell. Put your oxygen mask on first.
Okay, so this song is a little more on the moody side, I would say. It's definitely a serious, sober song. I would never say this is like a happy dance song or anything like that, or easy listening. So it's a little heavier, I'm going to use that word, heavy, little darker, sober, very, it's serious. But it's got a really beautiful melody to it. So kind of this like beautiful dark song, I guess I will call it. And so just as you're listening to your song, think about some words that would describe it so you can answer those questions. You're going to upload your MP3 file here. So in this case, since I have that saved to the folder, I could just go to the assignment, click on it, upload my MP3 file, and then turn that in, and then start recording footage. So since this is kind of a little bit more of a serious song, I have some footage that I got from my travels. So I thought maybe putting some different scenery, really beautiful scenery might end up looking kind of cool for this music video. So I'm collecting my scenery or my footage, and I have some from Colorado here. So again, in my Google Photos, if you have footage on your phone, which I'm sure most of you will end up having a bunch of footage on your phone, you can literally just upload it straight to Google Drive, or if you have like a Google Pixel or you have it set up where you're syncing, it should automatically back up. I really like the fact that I can just go on here and download stuff and not have to throw it um, in my Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, and we're going to click on the checkbox, and then I can go all the way up here, and we're going to download it. Whoop. I don't know what happened there. Where did my download button go? There it is. Okay. All right. So download. I have that. And then I'm actually going to take that download and move it over to my music video folder. So I'm going to go ahead and find that. Awesome. Okay. So I have it here. I'm actually going to just copy. Actually, no, I can drag it over here. Okay. All right, so there is my next footage. It's okay if there's sound in the background too, because you can mute that later on with your video editor. So that was 12 seconds. Okay, it's a good idea to pay attention to how long your song is. So if I go back here, I'm going to click and drag this up in my video player. So 4 minutes and 32 seconds. And it's harder than it looks to really fill up that time in an interesting way. So that's the basics. Before I let you go, I am going to look at some examples here. Whoops, where am I going? There it is. So these are student examples that we normally would watch in the actual physical classroom. And I just wanted to kind of show you these because there's a wide variety here in terms of style and genre. These are all A-level videos, so meaning the students who did these videos, I felt went above and beyond the expectations for the most part. So you'll get an idea of what I'm expecting. So if you're not quite up to this level, or you didn't put as much time into it, you'll kind of know where you stand. So here's the first one we'll look at, and we're not going to play them through all the way, but I just want you to kind of get a feeling for each of these. And if you've already seen them, then you can skip ahead. All right, so this is 90s Flave, I think is the name of it. Yeah, Call Me. So they slowed this footage down. This is obviously on the bridge over going to Quick Trip. Makes me a little nostalgic. So point of view shot. Got some full time stop there. So this artist or filmmaker of mine last year, played a lot with colors. So he was really interested in color and really focusing on that and slowing things down. So he slowed the footage down because the song was a little more on the lazy side, a little slower than his footage. So really effective and a lot of repetition here. It didn't take him a ton of time to collect this footage, maybe, an hour or so, not even. And then putting it all together, he spent a lot of time on the editing side. So he did a really good job. Here's the next one. This one was done in the library. It's his own original work, I believe. Him and a friend created the song. So they rented a room in the library for free and they got all these props and everything. And he was super embarrassed and super nervous to show this one, but I think everyone was pretty impressed and he did win an award for it from our music video awards for the year. So we'll just watch a few minutes here of this one. So yeah, you can see here, he was very, very nervous that he was going to be judged, but he did a really good job. They do some animation in here too, so he combined some animation with the actual footage. I'll turn it up a little bit because it is a little quiet.
I don't wanna, I don't wanna, no, 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 I don't wanna, I don't wanna, no, no, I don't wanna be nobody, I'm just trying to get my money, I just wanna be somebody, I don't wanna be nobody, no, I don't wanna be nobody, I'm just trying to get my money, I just wanna be somebody, I don't wanna be nobody, I don't wanna be nobody else, but I really gotta be somebody else to still make some money from the companies that'll do anything to sell me out. They pick up then drop these artists to right back from where they started. No industry plan here. I started from the grassroots, now I'm eating so good, lay before I'm fruit. Drove on the rough road, cause I knew the route. Always strive and prosper, I can knew the truth. Looks like the Midwest got some new recruits. You think this lifestyle is dangerous, no rules to obey and no one to a strangers. Nobody did a layer, not a thing to control us. And you know success is in our focus, yeah. I don't wanna be nobody.
It's cool.
I'm just trying to get my money. I just wanna be somebody. I don't wanna be nobody, no. I don't wanna be nobody. I'm just trying to get my money. I just wanna be somebody. I don't wanna be nobody. I won't ever switch up on my homies, you know that situation.
Oops, my video kind of cut out there, but you get the idea. So he's got some cool props, doing a lot of really interesting things in a fairly basic space, which is super cool. So he really went above and beyond. He won first place in our music video competition. This one is very similar in terms of wow factor. We were all just floored. Even though I saw her working on this one throughout the semester, throughout the couple months that we worked on this, she included raw footage, but then also animation on top for the entire music video. And the other cool thing is that her brother is actually in this band. I think it's Van Seer or Van Sire. So you can Google it. They were traveling all over the country. I think it was last summer, and we were just blown away. So I'll play a few minutes of this.
Spoken several weeks, but solitude tends to be the mood, so you probably won't hear from me. And there was once relief in the changing trees, the contrails that cut the sky, but prearranged circumstances change, and I'd be lying if I said I'm fine. Capturing the switchbacks in the line, Switching back to Central Standard Time. Each day slightly more resigned. Try to make some sense of life. So if we take off, you can quit your day job. We'd call ourselves the age of youth. You'll find us traveling and making tunes.
All right, so really, really cool. You can watch the whole thing on Google Classroom if you want to. This one is a little, or a lot, more experimental. Still really impressed. This student did a really cool job with some cool filters. Serious again.
I'm every girl. You have no voice. Oh, I know. Safer in my arms than on your knees. I beg you, please. Don't ruin that boy. Nah, cause I got the agua. Top shot and you know you have to take it.
What I liked there was he edited it according to that beep where the song almost cuts out, and so he cuts out the video just for that like split second and then goes back into it. So it really ties the footage in with the song. And again, I think it's appropriate for the mood that it's giving. We'll play a little bit more.
Up I'm at the Wawa, face down, handgun, make you test it. Never seen you in the street, you must be faking. And you can't afford a dime, you got no bacon. And you can't afford my time, we not relating. Nighttime, my time, I've been patient.
It's not working.
Back eyebrows. She's on. And it's 8 minutes and 58 seconds long.
The idea, like he was filming like a light and his hand, very basic things, but putting them all together in Premiere to make it a little more interesting. This one also won an award last year. Pull this one up. This one he had, I believe it was like a sibling or something, help him with filming because he wanted to star in it. So that is allowed. If you want somebody else to kind of hold the camera, you just kind of direct them. That's kind of what he did. He provided directions to who was filming him. So title sequence here. We got tracking. Voted for him because they felt he did such a good job with timing and editing really well. I'm kind of skip ahead a little bit here. So it goes down by the river in downtown. Beautiful out of focus and then in focus shots. Really, really nice, nicely done. The bokeh in the background. Again, fairly simple, but extremely effective. So that's why I say, get out. A lot of these were done outside of a student's home. And so getting out, I think, gets you a little more in a creative position. It gives you more options for creativity. I still am going to ask you to keep, those social distancing guidelines. Be safe, obviously. Don't get together with a whole bunch of friends or anything. Um, but get creative with it. It could even be, like let's say you are in a Google Meets with somebody and you want to record something, as long as you have their permission, you could do something like that, or something related to the current events of what's going on, something you can look back on and think about, as a memory of this time. If you want to remember this time, I know sometimes for me, I'm like, I don't know if I want to, but as almost like a record of what's happening. It's not a terrible idea. So think of it in different ways before you just jump in and say, okay, this is what I'm doing and that's it. Consider it. Take some time to think about what you want to do. So I think that's enough of examples here. I do have my Google Slides here with other actual music videos out there. I have my demo videos here for part 1 and part 2. I will say if you upload all of your footage and everything and you're ready to go, you can just start this right away if you have Premiere on a device at home. Feel free to look at the rubric again. That is under just the overall music video project. This is the actual assignment that you will upload your final video and artist statement too. So you'll put everything there. But for now, all that is actually due right now is going to be the raw footage, an MP3 file, and then today by 11:59 tonight, I would like you to answer these 3 questions. So focus on that for sure today. And then as we go along for the next week and a half, you have a week and a half to record all of your footage and then upload your MP3 file. So that's a good amount of time. The other thing I forgot to mention is think about different times of day and then think about what resources you have. So I don't want you to feel like you have to go out and spend a ton of money on props or anything. Like that one video that the student did at the library and he's like rapping to a song. He just went to the Dollar Tree and I think he said he spent like $15 on just some like really cheap, inexpensive props like the balloons and the flowers, and I think there were like tablecloths and stuff. So he did not spend a ton of money. I don't want you to feel like you have to do that. Some of the best videos I think are done really inexpensively. All right, so I think that's just about everything. Like I said, in a future video, I will actually talk about apps that you can use on your phone for video editing. TikTok is not what we're doing here, so make sure you're not just saying, oh, I'm going to upload my TikTok video. It's not that. I will not allow that. And then please make sure you are paying attention to that rubric. That is important because this is a huge project. And this is the kind of thing that, can really hurt your grade if you're not doing or not taking seriously. So that Google Doc, again, is going to be the rubric, and you can just check that. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out through Discord or you can email me at any time and I will get back to you. You can rewatch this video as much as you need to. And yeah, go ahead and get started. And I look forward to seeing what everyone comes up with and seeing your creativity.